Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to another shelf review of the Dice Tower Library. We're still on shelf 3 here, and we are now on shelf 3B, and this is the Queen Games shelf. Queen Games makes a ton of games, and not all their games are on this shelf because they have some big box games you'll see in another shelf, and also they make a decent amount of games that I don't really care for that aren't going to be here. But these are the ones I enjoy, and I just like how they all look next to each other. So we're going to start here with one of the best welcoming games there is, Copenhagen. I really like Copenhagen. I like placing the acrylic pieces in a Tetris format. Just a really neat game. And this is the deluxe version. This really matters because of the acrylic tiles. I normally don't say, oh, the deluxe version is much better. I don't want to own the other version. This one is really cool. Rune Stones by Rutger Dorn is kind of a deck building, collecting. I mean, it's such a boring theme of collecting resources for, I don't even know what it's like, witchery or whatever, and druids or something like that. But it's a solid game. There's some really cool strategic decisions here. Rutger Dorn is a really good designer, so that's why this one's here. It's one of the newer games on the list. Bastille. This is one that does not get a lot of love, but this is one I might bring out. It's a little auction game where you are kind of auctioning on different, each round you're going for different sections on the board, and each section gives a different ability. It's not a heavy game, but it offers some pretty good strategic choices. I like the theming here, the French Revolution and all, but it's a solid game. And if you've never played it, it's one to think about. Luxor. Now this one here is one of my lesser favorites on this shelf. I'm not as huge a fan of this one, but it's a very strong, welcoming game. Really easy to get into. You're moving down a path, and the farther you move down the path, you're going to get points, and it's almost like feels like a Euro version of a roll and move game. And so I'm not a huge, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I know a lot of people do like it. Franchise. This is one I did not expect to like. There is almost no luck in franchise. You are simply starting a franchise of something, fast food, laundromats, whatever, and going across America. But you are fighting for area control of different regions, different cities, making some, cutthroat things. This is a pretty cutthroat economic game in many ways, but it also doesn't feel long. It says 90 minutes on the box, but you can get it done faster than that. Here we have Winter Kingdom. This is basically Kingdom Builder with some changes to it. And Kingdom Builder is on another shelf, so that's why you're not seeing that one here. But I like Winter Kingdom better myself. This is a game in which you have a one-card hand. You play your one card and do different actions. But a solid thing, and I think the changes here make it better than the original Kingdom Builder. Thebes is a classic, great game in which you are going on archaeological digs, and you do so by opening up bags and reaching in them and pulling tiles out. And some bags have better tiles that you can go into and dig and find, what your, cool, relics from the past. But there's also dirt, and the fastest person to dig has a better chance. But if you also spend more time, you might get more things. Just a really cool game. Zen Garden. This is another welcoming game. Queen makes a lot of those, as you might notice. And this is the newest game, I think, on this particular shelf. And I really like Zen Garden. There's a lot of, you're just taking tiles and drafting tiles and putting them in front of you, trying to form the best Zen Garden you can. But it's easy to teach, and is, that's a good kind of game to have. Treasure Hunter from Richard Garfield, Robo Rally, King of Tokyo, Magic the Gathering. This is one of his lesser known games, and it should not be. This is a drafting game, which is something he likes. He did Bunny Kingdoms too. I really like Treasure Hunter. It is a lot of fun. I like drafting games, and here you're drafting monsters and fighting monsters, defending your village, looking for treasure. Really cool game. All right, now we move into a heavier section here. We have some Alexander Pfister games. We have Mombasa. Now, all these games, the one thing I really like about the games that I'm talking about here is these are upgraded games. Well, the first three are very upgraded with different pieces in them. Mombasa, kind of a stock market game, but set in Africa. I don't know that I'm a huge fan of the theme, and if the theme is even there. And of these three games, this is the one I like probably like this one number 2 out of the 3 of them. It's a solid game. The most popular of these 3 games is Great Western Trail. Now, Great Western Trail is going to be reprinted at some point. They've announced the reprinting of it with a much better cover. The cover of Great Western Trail is not amazing. But this one, a deck building kind of game, move down a path. Alexander Pfister has a few things that he does in games, and this one just really hit the zeitgeist. People enjoy it. My personal favorite, though, is Maracaibo. I really like Maracaibo, a game in which you are just sailing in a circle around in the Caribbean, but landing on different islands, using cards for multiple things. Using cards for multiple things is something that Pfister does a lot, and this one I think just really hits it for me. Although the theme again, but I like the game. Now the best themed of his games is Blackout Hong Kong, but I also think it's the weakest of these 4. It's a cool idea. There's a blackout in Hong Kong, but at the same time, the concept of it here, where it's really heady. This is teaching any one of these 4 is not particularly easy. Although I can teach these 2 pretty quickly, but this one is definitely the hardest one to teach. Again, multi-use cards and a lot of black ink. Then we have Praga. This is a new game from Vladimir Suchi. The sequel to Underwater Cities. I don't think it's as popular as Underwater Cities. I shouldn't say I don't think. It's not as popular as Underwater Cities, but it's still a pretty solid game. And if you're looking for a Pfister game, I figured you might also be interested in playing this one. Yes, it's a hashtag of mechanisms in a box, but it does have a cool main mechanism where there's this spinning wheel and you're moving around the wheel, almost a rondelle of sorts. So definitely worth checking out if you like these heavier Euro games. So that's it for Shelf 3B. Man, I don't know which one's my favorite on this shelf. There's a lot of good games. My first blush is to say Thebes, but I think it's going to be Maracaibo. I really am enjoying Maracaibo these days. Either way, a lot of cool games. What's your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been in the Dice Tower Library here at our studios.